Hello, everyone, and welcome back, Standard Humans Podcast. This is actually, what is this now? Episode 9. Jeez.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems like simultaneously too many and too few.
I'm actually
Mhm.
tempted to change the numbering, push everything back one, but just for people who skip episode zeros of things, or prologues in books and whatnot.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyways, today, what I wanted to talk about was dealing with change in
Mhm.
life.
Some of our listeners might be between the ages of like 12 and 14. You're going to notice a lot of stuff going on, right? That's okay. That's perfectly normal. What are your questions, Aidan?
Do you mean what are my questions, you young lad? I'm literally like 3 months older than you, Evan.
This is true. These are facts.
Yeah. Anyways, one of the things that I thought while I was planning for this episode was that this would be a very good way to end a podcast is letting the listeners know how to deal with change, the end of eras. But
Oh, God.
that's not what we're doing tonight.
Gotcha.
Good prank right there.
All Aidan's mom and girlfriend and my mom and girlfriend. Haha.
And the other people. You haven't even listed most of the patrons.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Jeez.
yeah, that is a fact. I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't list any actually. That'd be pretty weird if those people were.
Actually, you did
if any
list
of those
one.
people.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's your girlfriend.
Wow. Very cool.
Yes.
That's what
Thank
I
you,
call a pro
Evan's
gamer
girlfriend.
move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. She should join the gamer tier.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. It's an actual tier that you all can join if you want.
She
And
wishes she was
officially
a real
become a
gamer.
gamer.
Yeah.
But no, the reason that I wanted to talk about change this evening is because, as many of you might know, if you know me in person, or wouldn't know because I haven't talked about this publicly at all, I am planning on changing programs, school programs, as well as schools and
Whoa.
post-secondary institution type as well.
Whoa.
Yeah. Making some moves.
Tattooist apprentice?
That's exactly what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Pursuing my real passion. Anyways, I'm planning on getting out of this aerospace engineering nonsense and into the media communications program at a polytechnic institute. So it's a diploma program.
Polytechnic. That sounds very interesting.
It's basically just, it can do things that colleges do, it can do things that universities do.
Oh, okay. Because I hadn't heard that word in English before. I'd heard it in French,
yeah.
but I'm like, is that the same?
Maybe. I guess
Yeah.
if that's what it is, yeah. I guess
Yeah.
maybe we should re-explain how that whole system works, because in every country it's different, right?
I think
So
so.
when we say college, that usually means like the 2 or 3 year programs, diploma programs or advanced
Yeah.
diplomas.
Mhm.
And then university refers to places that give out the like 4-year degrees.
Degrees. Yeah.
Or I guess they have 3-year degrees. Degrees are honors degrees.
3 to 5 years.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah.
And then polytechnic
Yeah.
institutes kind of do both.
Yeah, you can think of like colleges. Yeah, colleges are like a diploma, and a university is somewhere where you could do like postgraduate work or something like that.
That's true. Universities all are also that kind of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
colleges do have those too. I mean, maybe not working like that, but they do have like postgraduate certificates and whatnot that you can get.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't actually know that.
Yeah. I've been finding out a lot of cool tips. Oh, one pro tip to anyone who's going to or thinking about going to university or whatever. Apparently, with a lot of college diplomas, they take like 2 years or whatever, right? And with that, they have like direct pathways out of the college to a university. So you spend 2 years getting your diploma and then another 2 years getting a degree. And then you end up with 2 certifications in the 4 years. Yeah.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, I know, right? Why did I not know about this before? Like that's
I
sick.
didn't. The only one I heard about was my sister's friend is studying nursing at a college she's basically doing that exact thing.
Oh, okay.
And I
Okay.
didn't know there was more than one. I thought that was just a that college thing.
Yeah, apparently that's
But
actually very common. If you just
huh.
go to any of like the college diploma websites, there's usually a little tab for the pathways on the program, and then it shows
Hmm.
you all the different pathways out. They usually partner up with a bunch of different universities and have like
Quite interesting.
almost all of your courses transfer over,
Hmm.
which is a
It's
neat
pretty good.
thing. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
then it's like it's cheaper for the first 2 years, which is sweet. And also, after 2 years, you kind of have an out point where you
Yeah.
get a certification. And then if you're like, all right, I want to do something else or change it
Then
up a
you're
little
good.
bit, like you're
Or
not
just
losing
work.
anything. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very true. If you have a certification, you can just work.
So that's how Canada works.
Yeah, there you go. Canadian education system.
I mean, that can't be that. I imagine in most of Europe it would work largely the same way.
I think it's similarly, yeah. I'm not
Mhm.
sure though.
I don't know about the college university thing in the United States.
I think for them it's like community college and college, but it's the same
Uh,
idea. Though some of the
hmm.
masters and PhDs work differently, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah,
What a foreign culture.
I know. Weird. You statesers out there
Yeah.
listening. Speaking of international listeners, you know what's the weirdest shit? I was looking at
What?
the demographics for the website one time, and it said that we
Yeah.
had a few referrals from Yandex, which is
What's
like
Yandex?
a Russian social media site, apparently.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's like
Huh.
two or three, I think, at one point. I haven't checked in a while, but it's the weirdest
Ah,
thing.
huh.
I was like, what? Okay, sure.
I'm for it. What's a message to all our Russian viewers? Привет.
Okay, there you go.
That
To all you Russian
that's
lads and lasses out
yeah.
there.
Google is for real listening to us because I was Googling how to say hello, and the first one that came up is in Russian. And I'm like, I know that's not the first one that would come up.
Yeah.
This is
What'd you
why you're
get
out
there?
here using
This
DuckDuckGo.
is entirely why I'm using like a tricked out version of Firefox and DuckDuckGo. Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about handling change
Of
today.
course,
Yeah.
that's pretty similar.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in trying to figure this out, or I did a little bit of research beforehand, quick Google, or well, in my case,
Mm,
DuckDuckGo,
yeah.
and I found an article on Psychology Today that sounds a lot more helpful than my random thoughts were. So I structured
Oh,
it
okay.
kind of around that.
Huh.
So I
So it's a
wanted to
little
make
thought
this,
piece.
yeah, exactly. Wanted to make it a little bit more applicable than just me right now, so
Yeah.
that someone could actually like take some lessons away from it.
If you too are moving from a university aerospace engineering program to a media program at a college in the same city, then this can apply to you too.
I mean, it's not wrong. It would. This would
It would very well.
it would extremely well apply.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of the first things I broke down their points into like six different things. One of the first things
Mm,
they said was that you have to acknowledge that things are changing and that that is an inherently stressful thing,
yeah.
which
Like so.
is
Don't
important to
expect to
do.
be chilling.
Yeah, exactly. When you're making an
Yeah.
actual large change in your life, that's freaking stressful.
Yeah.
Like I've been finding that I've been very stressed out, and I just have to keep on reminding myself, okay, yes, that makes sense. I'm stressed out because this is important or this matters to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm just gonna have to accept that this is kind of stressful. I just have to kind of get through it, be as proactive as possible, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Cause like I'm reading a really interesting book right now called well, I'm reading a couple books right now, but one of them I'm reading
Yeah,
is called the I think it's called The Places You Fear or The Places You Fear, written
interesting.
by a Buddhist woman
Hmm.
who is fairly learned or learned or whatever. And one thing she talks about is like there are basically two ways to react to like a stressor
Okay.
or just like a conflict or something that makes you uncomfortable is to just like close yourself off to it. And that's sort of the go-to default
Mm.
way of reacting to something. For instance, if you're bitten by a dog when you're a kid, then you'll just sort of avoid dogs, at least for a long time afterwards.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Um, because you don't like them anymore. But the other way, she said that will, according to her ideas, make you less jaded to life in general and less of a closed off person, and will help emotional development instead of stifling,
Yeah.
is to just like completely open yourself up to any situation, even when it's uncomfortable. Because then, like, while it's uncomfortable at the time, you'll be like fully processing it and won't be like suppressing yourself only for it to come out further, or like jading yourself to the world so that
Yeah.
you like are stifling basically who you are.
Yeah.
That's sort of a part of it. It's the same, like, just like accept that you're going to be stressed, live it in the moment
Okay.
instead of shutting off somewhat and then just like not being as present.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And on
Yeah.
like a slight side tangent, I wrote some article on why people meditate and used like monks as an example a little
Yeah.
while ago on my blog. And I said, all right, there's two options. Either they're completely closed off or they're processing shit really well. I think
Yeah.
it's probably the processing shit really well. And it's
The
like,
goal would be to
yes, I
process
got it
shit
right.
really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
According to this woman who wrote this book,
Yeah.
who is maybe a monk.
Okay,
Question.
maybe not a monk, maybe a monk. I don't know. I'm gonna call this a win.
Yeah, from the picture at the back of her book, she looks like a monk.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe she just with having a bald head.
Maybe, yeah,
Yeah.
possibly. But yeah, I think
But
it's very important to just acknowledge things because it's got to
yeah.
be the fastest way to get through it rather
Yeah.
than just repressing stuff until you like build up so much pressure and explode.
Yeah. Okay. Just for the show notes,
Yeah.
um, the book is called The Places That Scare You by Pema Chodron. Just for reference, she is a Tibetan Buddhist nun. Okay, there we
Oh,
go.
there you go.
So yeah, you were seemingly pretty spot on
Sick.
with your
I am
yeah.
actually a genius. All right, love
Yeah,
it.
actually big brain.
So yeah, that's kind of the first thing, to just acknowledge it. And then I think once you do that, you have to start getting proactive about it, because
Mhm.
especially when there's a big change going on, you need to set your priorities and make sure that other people aren't setting them for you, and that you're not taking on like an unnecessary amount of responsibilities or saying yes to a bunch of shit that really isn't going to help you out,
Yeah.
or is just going to make you even more stressed than you already are, which
Mhm.
you kind of want to reduce as much as possible.
Yeah, makes sense.
So just be like really clear about your goals.
What is your goal?
So I think the overall thing that I have is to just become the best marketer that I can be over the next like
Okay.
16 months.
Hmm.
You know what the other neat thing is? I
What?
basically put myself on a path to like finish the aerospace thing in another like 2.5 years. But this puts me on a path to finish school up in the original like 4 years again, which is
Oh,
pretty
that's
sweet.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm quite pleased about that.
Uh,
But yeah, so that's the overall goal. And then I do have a
yeah.
couple smaller ones. I still have to see the courses a bit more to make other more specific ones. But it's stuff
Yeah.
like make sure that you attend at least like 90% of the classes, because to be honest, I haven't really been going recently to a lot of my classes. It's
Yeah.
really hard to
Well,
care. Yeah.
yeah, it would be very hard to care.
Yeah.
It's like that kid who's switching schools in elementary school and would just misbehave in his last week because he's like,
What are you going to
what are you
do?
gonna do? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, it was hard in the first place, anyways, because they post everything online and don't really
Oh
add
yeah.
much to the notes. But now it's like, guys,
It's far for you too.
yeah, exactly.
Because my apartment was like 15 minutes walk from school, so it was like, whatever, I'll just go to class just 'cause. Like, just 'cause I can, it's not hard.
Yeah. And then when all the lectures are at like 8 a.m., it's really
8 AM. We don't even have anything that early. Our earliest is 8:30.
oh, well, that's nice. So yeah, I actually want to take school seriously again. So I
Mhm.
have to actually go to again like 90% of them. I want to maintain at least like a B average, I'm thinking.
Shouldn't be
That's
hard at all.
that's what I figure. Yeah.
If you're going to 90% of classes especially.
Yeah, that should be absolutely fine. I'm not really worried about that. I'm just making sure like I set that as like a minimum viable product because I have a
Yeah.
habit of just inflating that so quickly. Like, oh, if I
Oh,
just
yeah.
did this, this, and this, I could get an A minus, or if I did this, then I'd get an A, or I could get a perfect mark in the class if I did this and this. And then that starts to be getting to like a stupid amount of stress and work.
Oh, yeah.
So I just want to start the bar at like a reasonable level, you know?
Yeah.
Not really worried about that, but
For the attendance thing, I imagine attendance would be way more important in college than it is in university.
yeah, that's what I figure.
'Cause I feel like, at least for most college programs, it's a little more hands-on than for university. You could just, like, I know people who have passed a class not going to any lectures, just reading the
100%.
textbook. Yeah,
Don't even need to read the textbook.
and so I feel like you couldn't do that.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's actually going to be possible. With university
Yeah.
classes, like actually on one of the classes, I've been to probably less than half the lectures. I just kind of watched a decent YouTube series before the midterm and I got like a 90%.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
What class was this?
stress analysis.
Oh, ironic.
Yeah, I know, right? It was like I was freaking out a little bit because I was like, okay, I really haven't been trying here. Okay, I'm just gonna watch some YouTube videos, follow along with the problems, and then I glanced through one of the previous midterms, did a couple
Yeah.
of them, and then I got like a 90%, which is like, okay, why is this a joke?
Yeah.
I also
That's an
just test really well, but still,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Was it multiple choice or something?
no, completely problem solving.
Like, multiple choice is good if you know everything
Yeah,
from the content
yeah.
or know nothing. But
It's
somewhere in
not
the
good.
middle
Yeah.
is nice for a long answer
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
because then you can, like, throw stuff out there and be like, "What do you think of this?"
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's not bad.
So, what were the further points in this article?
So I've kind of smushed a couple together. Some of the next
Mhm.
ones were all under the umbrella of keeping a regular schedule. So it's like sleep
Okay.
consistently, eat good food, and exercise regularly. Those are like 3 points.
That's just I mean, that makes sense because that's just how to live a good life.
Yeah. Yeah, in
So,
general, you should be doing that, but I think
yeah,
it's important to emphasize it when there's a lot of change going on because it's very
yeah.
easy to think, "Oh, this isn't important right now. I have other stuff to worry about," which is honestly the excuse all the time, but it's especially effective when you got a big change.
Yeah, because 'cause you're like yeah, I can totally relate, mostly with sleep. That's what I struggle with, that's what I'm most willing to sacrifice first, I guess.
Yeah.
If I have stuff to do, I'm like, I just have this midterm, then after this midterm, I'll be back on a totally normal sleeping schedule." But then
Yeah.
you get in the habit of, like, only allowing, like, 6 or 7 hours in your schedule for sleep instead of 8.
Ooh, not good.
So then,
Not a good time.
that's how you fall in the trap. Because then you make those habits during those times, but then you just keep them up because 'cause they're habits afterwards. So it's
Yeah.
important to emphasize what you wanna be doing after the change during, I guess.
Yeah. And like I think getting the consistent sleep, it's probably the hardest one to do, but it's got to be the most important.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Like, at least mentally. I would say sleep is out of all 3 like, they all make a difference, obviously, to how you're feeling, but for me personally, it'll be pretty often, like, if I'm feeling, like, down or something, I'll be like, "Oh, grumble, grumble, grumble." And I'll be like, "I know I haven't been getting enough sleep, but this totally isn't the reason why I'm feeling like this." But then I'll, like, sleep, like, 8.5 hours the next night and wake up and be like, "Oh, I'm fine."
Yeah, actually. It's like it's basically the same thing as when you're drunk and you're like, ah, it's fine, I can do this or do that. Or when people say they're okay to drive, even though it's
Yeah.
like, no, you're obviously not. It's the same thing with sleep. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you're obviously sleep deprived.
Yeah. That's clearly what's going on, and you're like, no, no.
Yeah. Sleep is frustrating, to be
Like you
honest.
wish we didn't have to do it.
Kind of. Yeah. It's very helpful thing. But just it's so important and it impacts everything else so much. Like I was reading the
Hmm.
book Why We Sleep a while ago, right? And he actually
Yeah.
said that he used to have the same opinion that you brought up in the exercise video, that the three pillars of a healthy life were sleep, food, and exercise. But he'd
Yeah.
since changed that to say that sleep is definitely the most important one, and the other two stand on top of it,
Yeah.
because they actually did a bunch of tests or experiments or whatever you call it,
Yeah.
and the relationship between how well you sleep and how well you exercise. Most people think like there's a big like if you exercise better or more, you'll sleep better. That's
Yeah.
true, but the inverse is actually a lot more significant. The
Uh,
better you sleep, the more intense and the longer you'll like work out.
allegedly,
Yeah.
uh, um, Roger Federer sleeps about 12 hours in a 24-hour span.
Shit, Ben. Fair enough.
Yeah. That's how he played the longest pro match ever, I think it was.
Oh
It was
yeah,
like
how
5
long was
hours or
that? It was
something.
something like
It's
that,
like
yeah.
5 and a bit hours.
But then it's frustrating, I wanted to say, because
Yeah.
it's the hardest one to get, because the more you work on it or the more intensely you want it, the harder it is to sleep.
Yeah. I've never had like if I'm in bed,
Yeah.
then I'll sleep.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that's pretty much with me. Like I've never had insomnia or anything. But the thing is just getting in my pajamas ready for bed
Oh,
and
okay.
then going to bed. Like I'll stay up like doing stuff until
Mm.
like well past I want it to be in bed. But like what if I'm like, all right, just go to bed. Then I'll always be asleep within like 15, 20 minutes. It is super easy to skimp on sleep relatively, like because you'll be like for let's say food, like you won't just starve yourself to death because you're not thinking about it or because you have other stuff to do, but you will significantly sleep deprive yourself just because you've got like other stuff to do or other stuff going on in your life.
I don't
So
know if I totally agree with the statement. I think I'm equally harmful with both of them. Like I will
uh,
just either not eat or not eat anything remotely healthy for a while if I just
uh,
cannot be bothered to buy or make something decent. It's like, all right,
mm,
gonna have some pasta or gonna have like a banana for lunch here or like a handful of nuts or something, you know?
it's not terrible
No, but it's like just like one of those things.
unless it's just boiled pasta with nothing on it, then that is terrible.
No, but it's like I can sometimes tell like, oh God, I need something to eat if I'm like going for a workout and getting especially like lightheaded.
Yeah, I always try to stay on top of that for like fluids and salts and whatever because I have quite a low blood pressure. So it would be harder to work out without those things. So,
Makes sense.
mhm.
One thing I was thinking for exercise
Mhm.
is that I might just get one of those Fit for Less memberships. Cause like
Yeah.
at this point, I'm already like, I don't have to go into school today, even though it's only like 45-minute to an hour commute. I'm not going
You
to go
say
to the gym.
only.
Yeah. I say only because it upgrades to like an hour and a half for Humber.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm like, oh, only 45 minutes. That's not that
Yeah.
bad.
So yeah, I am almost definitely not just going to go into school at Humber to go to the gym if I don't have class.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need something closer. There's a Fit for Less like 30-minute commute away, which is
There's
not
not one
bad.
closer?
No.
It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, they're all on like the outskirts of Toronto, which is weird.
That is weird. I guess you got the suburban crowd hitting them a lot, I guess. But
Yeah, yeah, probably.
everybody inside the city is doing more niche, weird fitness stuff. You like Krav Maga and hot yoga and stuff. And then everyone on the outside are the tired 40-something midlife parents who are just trying to hit a workout before they go home to their annoying children.
So yeah, that those were all very good points. You got to
Hmm.
keep the consistency on the big three things for health,
Yeah.
because that just makes everything less stressful and makes you better able to deal with difficult decisions and
Yeah.
whatnot.
But that does answer a common fitness question that
Yeah.
I've had and that a lot of other people have had. And I think like I answered it myself with just experience, but for other people, people are like, "Oh, if I you only have so much time in the day. Would it be better to get, let's say, 45 minutes less sleep and hit the gym for a good workout, or get a full night's sleep and not get a workout?" And
I
it
would
seems
definitely
like
say sleep.
the
Yeah.
sleep. Yeah, because those two are often competing.
Yeah, which is not good.
Yeah, in that case, I would advise working exercise into your just day, like
Yeah.
biking to work, or like biking. Do it. I bike to the bus station and back, which is about total 40 minutes. So
Hmm.
if I'd get nothing else in the day, that's still fine.
Yeah,
That's
that's
enough to
still a
like keep
bunch
me
of
from going
exercise.
crazy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's more than a lot of
Yeah,
people get. So like,
yeah, for sure. And then if you just like have a walk for half an hour, then bam, you've got over an hour's exercise in a day, and you're good.
yeah, walking's a neat thing. I want to do that more. No,
That's
just
funny
like
because
taking walks.
that's a common sentiment that people my age and your age say a lot. They just like don't take walks that often. And
Yeah.
I find that so strange because I take walks literally every single day for at least like half an hour.
Yeah, no, but I've tried it before. Just like going
Yeah.
out walk, like no distractions, like no podcast or anything. And it's the
Yeah.
best shit. Like I actually just spent a day mostly just walking around. I think I only had like an hour of class that day. And that was how I decided that yes, it was time to leave engineering because I spent a day
Yeah.
just with my thoughts going over it and thinking, yeah, yeah, this is actually beneficial to me. This is
Yeah.
what I want.
Uptown Toronto is actually a really good place for that. I did that. I do that like when I have like a train layover or something and I have like an hour, when I'm not getting like basement Chinese food with you, I'll just
Yeah.
like walk around Toronto and be like, wow, wow, very cool, very interesting.
Yeah, I actually love downtown Toronto. Other than the
Yeah,
mildly sketchy parts, like I don't totally love the area around my school, but more so around
yeah,
Union is nice.
yeah. I
Like the
mean, that's where
CN
my train
Tower.
layovers are.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a great
like,
area.
there was like a sushi, like, there's just interesting stuff that you see. Like, there's a sushi shop that had an espresso bar in it, and I'm like,
Hmm.
what a weird combo.
Sure.
The millennials love it.
Toronto, am I right?
Yeah,
But yeah, the cool shit is though that at the campus I'm going to be at Humber, there's a bunch of like
yeah,
walking path, like it's right on the water. So I've got like
yeah.
nature again, which is the neatest shit.
Yeah, that's quite nice. That's another reason I go for walks a lot because
Oh shit, High Park's actually
yeah,
on the way. Oh, I could just stop off there for a walk sometime. That would be sick. All right. So moving on from the big three that we spend every episode talking about,
yes.
the next point they actually had was to get help, which
All right. Like go
I
to a
never.
therapist?
Sorry?
Like go to a therapist?
I think, yeah, that would count as getting help, but just from people in general, try and get help with the change. The way that I actually ended up doing this was I was, I had, I guess I'll start out by saying, so when you apply to the college, you have to do at least 3 applications and you get up to 5 for the like
Yep.
$100 fee. So, and of course, all the colleges accept you at different times and have different deadlines.
Of
So,
course.
yeah, as per usual. And one of the other ones had a deadline right about when I was going to get to know if I was accepted or not into the Humber program, the one that I
Hmm.
have accepted. So I just emailed the admissions person, like, hey, this is not good. Can you please help me? And she was like, yeah, so, technically we've maxed out the number of offers we can send out. But, I've looked through the numbers again and we've sent you an offer of admission, which is
Oh,
like,
that's quite nice.
I know, right? That's sick.
That's yeah, that's just one of those things like you say, just like ask sometimes. You'll be
Yeah.
surprised what you can get from just asking.
It's the neatest lesson is that you'll
Hmm.
never get anything that you don't ask for.
Yeah.
It's actually true. Like, what?
It's the same with like after an exam, if you think it was graded unfairly, rather than just like accepting it, you should ask,
Yeah.
because worst case scenario, you keep the same mark. Best case scenario, you get a better mark.
I mean, like, maybe ask around and see what the worst case scenario is, because I have heard that profs could just like destroy your mark if they're like, ha, I'm going to regrade this whole thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, apparently some profs will
Uh,
do that. Yeah.
I believe Waterloo has a policy. I think they do. At least this is my experience, is they'll never take marks that they originally gave you back. They'll
Okay.
never take them away, because that would be super shitty. Like then nobody, that would just be deterring students from going forward if they thought that their thing was graded incorrectly.
Yeah.
Because they should go forward if they think it's graded incorrectly. But if the prof can take marks away, then nobody ever would, because they'd be like, "Wow, maybe I'll actually fail if I go back." So I don't think they'll ever take them away. They'll only add if it's needed.
Yeah. Thinking back, that it actually was a policy for some of the, I think, math courses at
Yeah,
my school that they will regrade the whole thing.
that's
So,
crazy.
yeah, I know Waterloo is just generally a better school than Ryerson, but come on, Ryerson, get your
That's
shit
just.
together.
I'm actually kind of surprised it's not the opposite, to be honest. And so, were there any final points on this article?
Yeah, actually. So after getting help from people, they also said that you should vent, but to a point.
Yeah.
So don't be the typical like engineering student going, I get 2 hours of sleep a night. I have 10 hours of homework every day. I'm in class 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
You know,
Anytime, yeah, anytime anybody from any other program says they have homework.
it honestly just annoys me at this point.
Yeah, it seems, yeah, I've said this before. This is a vent that I have vented in
Hmm.
this platform of venting before, but people vent too much.
Yeah,
It yeah, it is funny to see people like sort of compete to see whose life is harder. They're like,
I know.
yeah,
Like I was
they're like,
talk
you go
Go.
first.
Okay. Like I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm so busy right now." I think they were in like a business management program and they were like, "Wow, I'm just so swamped. What program are you in?" And I'm like, "Oh, don't make me say it. Don't make me
Yeah,
say I'm in aerospace engineering because then the moment
you
I
just
say that, they're
activated my
like,
trap card.
"That's actually it." Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
descriptive. Because the moment I say that, they're like, "Oh, okay, I'll stop talking then. Your life is obviously harder." And it's like,
Pot of greed.
classic. The
Yeah,
most destructive trap card of all time.
exactly. You just activated my engineering trap card.
That's
Yeah, but then people like, oh yeah, I have this many classes and I have this much homework and then sleep. And then for whatever reason, there's always a reason. I also couldn't sleep for like more than like 4 hours for like any day this week. And I'm like,
it's like, all right,
very good.
you're just making bad decisions right here. Fix your
Like,
life.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so your life is very disorganized and don't have very much management going on with your course, your life. You should get on that. That's
Yeah.
not just a testament to how hardworking you are. That's just like your life is badly organized.
Yeah, it's the weirdest shit because like until I decided to really like get out of engineering, I'd actually
Yeah.
like take pride in having like disadvantages or saying like, oh, this course is so unfair, or this prof is giving ridiculous works, or the instructions just aren't clear. And it's like,
Hmm.
ah, yes, another thing to complain about. I can one up people better. And it's like,
Oh well,
what?
yeah. I think everybody in their academic program, certainly like myself as well, mostly just doing first year, has like fallen into that, because then it is like it makes sense to me, because the way I think about it, if you think your situation, like whether it's academic or whatever, is harder, then you must therefore be like more skilled or smarter or
Mhm.
whatever if you get through it and succeed.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
makes it makes you think you're
That's true.
better at stuff.
When you're
But
actually just making life harder for yourself,
yeah, yeah,
which is
you're
the
right.
hilarious thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Ironic.
doesn't need to be like that.
No.
But
Their point was, yeah, complaining is really What do you call it when it just feels good?
Cathartic.
Cathartic. That's the word. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
cathartic to vent, but you should eventually get around to focusing on solutions to your problems
Yeah.
so that you're actually
Don't
fixing
just
stuff and moving on.
don't fall into the rut of just complaining and then just staying on the exact same course that you were on before.
Yeah. And
Because
then
that doesn't make sense.
it really doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last point they had that I don't think I'm going to be able to do is to back off of social media.
Well, that's difficult when you're going into a media
Yeah,
program, surely.
because I actually need to get on it more and like have more experience with it.
Well, to be honest, we say that too much. I feel like there's a distinction between the type of media you're using for like the podcast and stuff and what like more harmful social media would be. Because I don't see like LinkedIn as harming anybody's mental health or anything like that, you know? Like
Maybe.
I don't think anybody's like losing their self-esteem because they are updating their blog too frequently or something, you know?
Hmm.
Like maybe, but like I feel like most of the negative mental effects from social media come from one, if you're addicted to it and just like are on it all the time, or or two, if you're just like comparing yourself either consciously or subconsciously to all the images and things you see
Yeah.
on like Instagram, Facebook, like not even like your physical body, but just like, oh, this person spends all their time doing fun stuff. Why don't I do any fun stuff? Oh, this person has so many friends. Why don't I have many friends? And stuff like that. Because everybody's bullshitting, you know?
This is very true.
Like nobody posts on Instagram unless it's a spam Insta. Like nobody posts like, oh, today I actually just did nothing and just sat around and this is the Dorito dust on my pajamas.
I mean, maybe. I'm sure there are a bunch of people out there that actually do that.
Yeah, and spam
Maybe.
instas and stuff. But like all the like you remember more of the stuff where it seems like people are having better lives than you.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
that's probably what's the most harmful. And that I don't think that's exactly the sort of stuff that you'd be going on with the like the podcast or like whatever.
Yeah, I don't know, because I definitely am gonna have to involve myself, I think, in a lot of those websites more, like the Instagrams or the Facebooks, or I might actually have to use Twitter. We'll see if I can just not. That's
Yeah.
Twitter's
I've never
weird.
used Twitter. I don't get it.
Neither do I.
I got an account for one day, and then the next day I just deleted it because I was actually like, "What's this for?" I was so confused because you just scroll through it and see like 2 sentence snippets
Yeah,
and the occasional picture that
yeah,
people post, and I'm like, "Well, this is way too short." Like, like
yeah.
this, you can't like they're not saying anything of substance really. I don't understand. I probably sound like a pretentious asshole, but I don't understand Twitter.
100%, but I feel you. I don't get it either. The other ones,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Like
Yeah.
Instagram I get because like
You got all the cool
I'm a
photos.
I'm a visual person. Like I'm like, oh, that's a cool photo. Oh,
Yeah.
that's also a cool photo. Very nice. But if I'm like, oh, this person said these 2 sentences that were mildly interesting.
Hmm.
Oh, these person like if it was like I don't know, I could see getting super into like a site where it's just like people write like one chapter stories and you just go through it, or like one chapter like blog post sort of thing,
So basically
where
just
it's like
blogs.
yeah,
Yeah.
like if there was yeah, there's like blog websites that would make more sense to me because then you could actually like say a lot of stuff. But yeah, Twitter, super weird.
Very weird. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That does remind me when you're mentioning being addicted to social media, I really have to take a break from YouTube, honestly.
Ooh yeah,
It's,
YouTube for me as well is the one where I definitely go on the most.
yeah, yeah. Like, I'm a bit nervous to look back at my usage statistics because I get that
Yeah,
on my the cold turkey program that I have that blocks me from stuff. It keeps
yeah,
track of like my top websites, and I know
yeah.
some days that really gets up there.
It's like 20 hours.
Maybe like 10. That's probably like my worst.
Well, mine would be completely out of whack
Yeah.
because I'll put on like sleeping music, where it's like
Oh, okay.
rain sounds or something like that. YouTube videos for like they're like 1 to 5 hours long.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Just when
harder.
I'm sleeping because I like to have some noise. I don't like to have like a completely silent room.
Yeah. I usually just have
Um,
the fan on, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, that works too. But
But yeah, YouTube
yeah,
works.
I like to have something like that. So it would add an additional like 4 hours every day. But if it wasn't working in a place with no Wi-Fi, it would probably be way higher than it is currently.
But yeah, I definitely need to do another detox on that because I did that once
Hmm.
before for like a month or two, I think, and it was great. Like I came back and I logged onto YouTube, and it was like, I don't care. None of these videos matter to me.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna not. Eventually, I got back into it, but it's just a good feeling to
it
not be
is. Yeah,
spending all your time on it.
just like clear your mind.
One of the
Hmm.
things that I've been thinking about is that for the podcast in general in the future, it seems like it's getting harder to find like big topics to fill an episode with.
I agree.
So one of the things that I was thinking was that just to have smaller sections either for discussions or updates if we have any like changes or things that we want to try and implement in our life. So like an example would be like if you do like a digital detox kind of thing for like a couple weeks or a month or whatever. And
Yeah,
then when you come to the podcast, you can kind of talk about like how it's been and just kind of update how it's going, what's good, what's bad, that kind of stuff.
yeah.
I think that
That would. I think that would make a lot of sense. Or just like anecdotes.
yeah, no, 100% anecdotes. Yeah, that would be a good time. But I think that's
Okay.
both
Yeah.
a good way to come up with more content while still being interesting, as well as a very good accountability system for us. If we
Hmm.
say on the podcast, "Hey, I'm going to do this," you kind of
For
you
sure.
really need to do that.
Because we've got between 4 to 2 million people listening. It's anywhere in that
Yeah.
range. Honestly, my estimate couldn't tell you where it is.
Yeah, it's one somewhere in there. I'm not sure exactly, but
Yeah.
somewhere.
Merch. I know that's not
Honestly,
what you meant, but
honestly, I've been thinking, I've been looking into that every now and then, very casually, because merch would be sick.
make 2 t-shirts
Yeah,
just so that we can have them.
I think with a lot of them, you need around like 20 or so to sell,
Yeah.
which
No, yeah.
honestly, we might be able to get up to.
Hmm,
Like maybe.
okay.
That's a hard maybe on
Call
that,
call me on my personal cell phone if you want some merch, and I'll make it happen.
because that would be sick. That would be so sick. I would wear the shit out of that.
I would just 'cause clout.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. I'm wearing my own merch all the time.
Yeah.
And like if that goes well, maybe like hoodies or something else or sweaters. That'd be so good.
Oh, I was thinking just G Fuel flavors, but
Yeah, to each his own. We'll get there.
yeah,
100%. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'll just call Felix
Very
up
much.
and get the G Fuel number.
Uh, of course.
Oh yeah, he was
Easy.
actually just in Toronto.
Yeah, did you see like
I
where he was or the Tsuki market or whatever?
I actually found out about it after it was over.
So wait, is Tsuki Market just a shop now in Toronto? Because I
No, I
would go
think
to
it's
that.
just a pop-up thing for like
Ah,
a
man.
couple days. And apparently he was there for a day, which goddamn, I wish I'd known. Just hanging
Yeah,
out like okay.
that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like meeting him in person, like I wouldn't want to meet really any of the YouTube people who I watch. Like I don't know, like
Mm,
the chefs.
yeah.
The chefs I would actually,
Yeah.
just because like I would want to eat their food, but but the people who just talk, I don't know if I would want to.
Yeah, that would just be awkward. I wouldn't know what to say.
Yeah,
If
and I
there
feel
was a
like
reason
it's
we were hanging out, that'd be sick. But
yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah, and like I don't know, like a meet and greet and stuff. I wouldn't really want to go to. It's the same sort of reason
Yeah.
why I don't like touristy stuff.
I don't know. Maybe. Might still go. It'd be cool to get like pictures or some shit, or just say hi,
Yeah,
see
be
them in
like,
person if they're
they're a
around.
lot
That'd be
shorter
cool.
in person.
Yeah, I'm sure Felix would appreciate that.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Hmm.
man, we should have a standard humans meetup at some point.
No.
Yeah, no, maybe eventually.
Hard disagree.
But why? But why, Evan?
Sounds gross. Okay, everyone reach the farmer's field between my house and the Walmart, and we can just hang out there. Sounds like a time.
Fair enough. It's a good
Yeah,
time.
you know where that is.
But yeah, oh yeah, I did want to ask on that, like making improvements in the life and then like updating people about it. Do you ever do that shit? Like intentionally try and like start new routines of some kind or new habits that you would be like wanting to
Um,
talk about?
Not usually.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to stay pretty unregimented, which sounds weird, but I mean in the way of like I try to always eat healthy, get enough sleep, like just I try to always live a healthy lifestyle, but I just sort of like to go by feel. Like
Okay.
like if I feel like I have a lot of energy, then I'll exercise. If I feel like I don't, then I'll rest. And if I'm hungry, then I'll eat more food than if I'm not. But yeah, I try to stay away from like regimented stuff. Just like out of my own personal experience, I find that going by feel works better for me
Hmm. Okay.
to like for long-term maintenance. And I find that I enjoy my activities more. And then, because if it's like, oh, today's a really nice day, I'd want to go for a swim at the lake, but it says here that I have to do this workout, and then I'll be too tired to swim.
Hmm.
If it's just like general unregimented, like just being healthy, then it's like, yeah, just go for a swim today. Why not? Doesn't matter. Yeah, but I also try not. I prefer to lead a less busy lifestyle as well, which that's more suited to.
Yeah, no,
So,
that makes sense. Yeah, the busier you are, the more responsibilities you have, the more you do have to really start scheduling things to
hmm
make sure you're actually prioritizing things like we spoke about sleep and getting your
yeah,
exercise in and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
buying Brussels sprouts and whatnot.
that's true. Yeah.
I think that's pretty much everything for this week.
Yeah, I think so.
But I will be sure to take note of any interesting stuff that I intend to start. Or well, one thing I could probably do is I like to just write, like free write.
Oh, yeah.
Not really for the purpose of anything, but I could like try to write a whole piece and just be like just say that I'm doing it just so that I have motivation to not just scrap it halfway through.
Sure. Yeah, that could be cool. What
hmm
what kind of thing were you thinking of writing?
Oh, I just always write just like short fiction pieces,
Hmm,
just
cool.
like based on maybe stuff that is around or
Okay.
stuff that's happened, but purely fictional for sure.
Okay. It's not like a
hmm
friggin' autobiography.
No, not at all.
The life and tales of Evan.
Of Brian.
Classic movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So, do you have anything like that that you plan on
this is
having?
just like every day there's always like half a dozen times where I'm like, "Oh, I should really start doing this or that." And it's like, "Oh, I want to like
Yeah.
get a regimen going for this or that." So, yeah, it's something I think about a lot. I tried to do that. If you saw my YouTube videos trying to do a morning routine,
hmm
yeah, that didn't end up working out well because I was like overlapping them. So each of them were like a month long challenge, but I staggered it so one would start every 2 weeks, and that was too busy. There's I don't want to
Yeah.
be focusing on two new things at once. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think this would be good in that it both commits me to doing something and keeps me to one thing at a goddamn time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then there's just other people who'll notice.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, like what I said there, like going on another digital detox, I think would be good.
Yeah.
I need to get
See, for
back into
me,
exercise. I need to
yeah,
freaking make food more often.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's that like the thing you said where you always would be like trying new stuff like all the time.
Mhm.
That's sort of like why I don't, or I try to do stuff mostly by feel. Because like for instance languages, I like learning languages, but every time I would just be like, "Oh, Russian's cool." And then I'd learn Russian for like a week or two, and then I'd be like, "Oh, Chinese is really cool too." And
Mm.
then I'd learn it for like a week or two, and overall it doesn't matter at all. Like that's basically no knowledge. Then I was just like, I'll just like not jump at every whim to learn something or make a routine or whatever. And then if it keeps nagging me for long enough, then I'll just actually learn it.
That makes sense.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so right now I'm on Spanish.
Hola,
hmm
mi amigo.
Hola.
There you go.
No mames.
You've already surpassed me right there.
Yeah.
I do not know where the mames is.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah, you've passed what I remember from Dora.
So, I don't think we have anything that will be like starting this week,
No,
but next week,
maybe.
y'all better
Yeah.
hold us accountable, unless you have something.
No, I have nothing put together enough this week,
Ah, okay.
but I'll
Yeah.
try and throw something together for next week.
I
Yeah.
may or may not.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully, this will come pretty soon after our next podcast that explained why there's been all these absences in podcast. Long story short, don't even worry about it.
Fair enough. Yeah, so the next one I guess will come out next week, and then this one maybe like 3 weeks from now, I guess.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm not gonna try and catch up again because no, that's a lot of work.
So until next time, I guess.
There you go. Now you all know how to deal with change.
Yeah, you're all
Yeah.
masters at it now.
Go change your lives.
You're all the turtle from Kung Fu Panda.
Make a positive difference in the world.